Hi everyone. So today I'm going to discuss about why I chose lending domain over other domains. So the decisions that shaped my entire career and what it taught me. So I'm going to discuss about them. So uh, what happens most BAs drift into their domains and domains. I chose mine deliberately. Here is why. So I mentioned certain things over here, but I'm going to discuss about them in detail. Mention 4 points why learning beats most domains, the real salary difference, what nobody tells you about the challenges, how to break in from any background. Okay, so if you're a BA deciding which domain to specialize in, then this video is the one I wish I had existed when I was making the decisions. Okay, by the time I couldn't find it, so I thought that I should put my most personal and practical knowledge. So I just want to talk about here. And what happens, something that I notice every time I sit with BA who is 2 or 3 years into their career. They are working across multiple domains, like a retail project, telecom project, and there may be an insurance project somewhere in between. So multiple domains are there, so people are working with multiple domains and changing the careers and all that. Okay, and almost every one of them is quietly asking themselves the same question: should I be specializing, and if yes, in what? Okay, so that's the question. It comes in BA mind always. So most BAs answers these questions the wrong way. They drift into a domain by accident. They get assigned it to a banking projects or an insurance projects, and they stay because it is comfortable, not because they made a deliberate choice. Okay, so I made these decisions deliberately at looking back from 10 years. Okay, in that decisions was the single most financially impactful and professionally rewarding career choice I have ever made. More than any certifications, more than any company I joined, more than any specific project. So the decision to go deep into the lending domain shaped everything that came after it. And in this video, so that's why in this video I'm going to walk you through exactly why I made that choice, what I considered, what others domains I evaluated, and why did I not choose them, and what the my learning domain has given me that I couldn't have built elsewhere. What nobody warned me about, because they practically how you can break into lending from wherever you are today. So if you are BA at the person deciding whether to specialize and in what, that is the video I wish had existed when I was making that decisions. Okay, so I'm gonna talk about them. So here I mentioned the major BA domains in India, honest comparison, right? So multiple domains are there, as you could see this. We have lending and BFSI domains, then we have healthcare, pharma, then we have insurance, then we have retail and e-commerce, then telecom, then manufacturing and ERP. So these are the domains which we have, and I'm gonna talk about each of them. Okay, so before I get into my personal story, let me 6 major domains I categorize that employ significant number of BAs in India. Let me be very honest about each one, right? So as I what happens, lending sits at the very top of the complexity and compensations pyramid. Now, why talk about why? So because lending uniquely combines 4 things that no other domains does simultaneously: regulatory complexity enforced by one of the world's most active banking regulations in the RBI, direct financial risk where documentations errors translate immediately to financial loss. Okay, to financial loss, technology sophistication, within the most complex API integrations, and the social consequences where every loan decisions directly affect real, what real person's financial life, right? So healthcare and pharma, if I talk about the healthcare and pharma, so is the second strongest domain choice for a BA in India right now. Regulations, clinical trial documentations, and drug approval, workflows and hospital, management system all requires deep domain expertise. If you have a, science background, or a genuine interest in healthcare, and that is the powerful alternative to lending, right? Insurance is closely, if I talk about the insurance, so insurance is closely related to banking in terms of the regulatory thinking required, and it has compliance, actual real rule documentations, claims processing, system complexity, and product design requirements all develop skills that transfer directly into lending domain. If you cannot get a lending role directly, an insurance BFSI role is an excellent adjacent entry point. If I talk about the retail and e-commerce, if I talk about the retail and e-commerce, so I want to be fair here. Like retail banking, retail BA work is genuinely valuable, and there is plenty of it. Like the projects are often interesting, the stakeholders dynamics are manageable, and the volume of requirement work is high, but there is a ceiling. Retail domain knowledge is not as scarce as lending knowledge. The regulatory environment is minimal. The salary premium over a generalist BA is limited. Good choice for early career. Good choice for early career, I would say, but not for long term. Telecom. I'm talking about the telecom. So the for BA investment in Indian telecom is flat to declining. The major operators have consolidated in infrastructures. Investment is slowing relative to fintech. Interesting technology work has largely moved elsewhere. So I would not recommend a telecom as a deliberate domain specializations choice for a BA today. If I talk about the manufacturing or ERP and ERP, not or ERP, manufacturing and ERP, SAP and Oracle implementation skills matter more than BA domain expertise in this environment. If you go deep in this area, you are building tool expertise more than domain expertise. That is not without value. SAP BAs are well compensated, but if you want to be a domain expert rather than a tool specialist, manufacturing ERP is not the right path. That is the landscape. Now let me tell you why, with all of those options visible, I chose lending. So I just want to say here, if I go ahead with next slide, so 5 reasons lending domain create replaceable. So there are 5 reasons lending domain creates irreplaceable BAs. Okay, so it like I have mentioned 5 reasons here. The first one is financial consequences make documentation precedence non-negotiables. So in lending domain, a wrong requirement means real financial loss, as I mentioned earlier, not a UX bug. This pressure creates the most disciplined BS in the industry. In most IT domains, a wrong requirement produces a software defect. The system does something unexpected. You log a bug in Jira, it gets prioritized for the next sprint. The cost is some development time and some frustrations, right? In lending, a wrong requirement means the wrong loan decisions get made for potentially thousands of customers before any catches it, right? Reason two, regulatory complexity builds knowledge that compounds over time, and every RBI guidelines you study becomes permanent knowledge, and every compliance requirement you document adds to mental library of regulatory understanding that no other domain gives you. If I talk about after 10 years in lending, I have worked through the KYC master directions, the digital lending guidelines for and the fair practice code, and the NBFC's master and directions, the account aggregator framework regulations, the credit information companies rules, and dozens of specific circulars. This knowledge does not expire; it compounds, I would say that. Now, reason three, I want to mention here that technology investments in India lending is growing fast than almost any other sectors. So the Indian credit market is approximately 22 lakh crore rupees. There are more than 10,000 licensed lenders. This is not a sector where demand for BS might grow. It is a sector where demand for BS is structurally fundamentally growing every year for the foreseeable future. Reason four, I want to mention that domain the combination of lending domain expertise and the CWEB certifications, okay, is the most rarest profile in the Indian BA market. Okay, so most certified CWEB certified BAs are generalist. They have passed international examination, but they do not have deep domain knowledge. Most deep lending domain expert are not CWEB certified. The intersection CWEB certified BA with a genuine in lending domain expertise is a group of perhaps a few hundred professionals across the entire country. City drives value when a major NBFCs or fintech company needs a senior lending BA for a transformation project. That scarcity is your advantage. Reason five, I want to mention here that you could see this. Reason five, this work is socially meaningful, and that matters more than most people admit. And when I document the requirements for home loan systems, I am part of the process that enables families to own their first home. When I work on a digital personal loan product, I am part of the process that gives small business owner access to working capital that a bank branch or would never have given them. Financial inclusion is one of the most consequential economic challenges in India. The technology that enables it in the system that BS like me document is what makes credit accessible to people who were excluded from formal financial service for generations. I want to mention something here that I have never once regretted choosing a domain where the social consequences of getting it right is this significant. So domain BA versus learning domain BA, what change? So you could see this in genic IT BA. So I have mentioned certain things, and in the learning BA domain, I have mentioned certain things. Okay, so a genic IT BA documents fundamental documents functional requirement for software systems. Okay, challenge stakeholder conflict is the hardest challenge, I would say that. Then if I talk about the compliance, so compliance requirement are straightforward. Okay, compliance requirements are straightforward, mostly data privacy regulations, like requirement are wrong, you get a software defect that gets fixed in the next sprint. Okay, this happens usually. Then if I talk about the API documentations, okay, API documentations may or may not be part of your scope. Okay, API documentations is I have mentioned optional, but maybe maybe or may not be part of your scope. Your salary premium or a freshers with no domain knowledge is modest. Now if I talk about a lending domain BA, here I have mentioned, so lending domain BA documents credit policy rules which can run to 300 or 500 individual rules for a single product. Regulatory compliance requirements and RBI master directions, KYC guidelines, digital lending regulations, okay, fair practice code, API integrations, specializations for, like bureau APIs, KYC APIs, bank account aggregators APIs, payment APIs, and insurance APIs. Okay, so the hardest challenge is not just stakeholder management; it is a navigating the simultaneous and sometimes conflicting requirement of the risk team, the compliance team, the legal team, the product team, and the technology team, all of whom have legitimate authority over different dimensions of the requirement. Okay, so you have to, when requirement, you have to handle all of them, you have to take care them, and then you have to get the approval to develop the products and all that, right? So that's why I mentioned generic ITBS versus learning BA, learning domain BA. Now, if I talk about the lending domain salary premium real numbers, so these are the real numbers, like generalist BS, like 8 to 14 lakhs, and lending domain BA, like if you are having the 5 years of years of experience, then you could get in between 12 to 20 lakhs, and if you are having more than 7 years of experience with CBAP certifications, then definitely you would have 20 plus salaries. Okay, so domain expertise compounds every year in learning, adds knowledge that cannot be replicated quickly. Of BA with deep credit and regulatory knowledge commands a premium that a journalist BA with 8 years of varied experience often cannot match, right? So this is what I have mentioned. What to what 10 years in lending teaches you that no other domain does. So here I mentioned, like I have learned about them, okay, while working. So like regulatory thinking, financial modeling, financial modeling logic, then API and integration mastery, then risk-based thinking, cross-functional collaborations, and data and analytic literacy. So these are things which I have learned, and whenever the comment comes, I think about them, and I go for, I ask the multiple questions to customers, and I take the answers, and based on that I do the analysis at my end before writing the documents. Okay, so if I talk about the real challenge of learning domain, nobody warns you about these. So I have mentioned these are the real challenges. Okay, so regulatory reading is a permanent job requirement. Okay, when you are part of the learning domain, you have to read weekly basis regulated guidelines. Okay, so there might be something new which you need to which you need to read it, and you need to implement it into product. The cost of mistakes is significantly higher than other domains. Okay, while documenting, while understanding the requirements, you need to understand in a better way. Otherwise, like what are the effort you are putting, that would be the wasted, and to correct that, it would take another time and effort. So, and if I talk about the domain knowledge, takes takes years to build. There are no shortcuts. Okay, if you want to be a specialized and a domain specialist, and then you need to put multiple years over there, and you need to understand, and you need to have the proper knowledge about it. The stakeholder complexity is higher than most domains. Okay, there will be multiple team members and stakeholders which you will have to handle, and you will have to work with them. Okay, you can handle them very easily, like there could be other team members, and they might not be agree with you, so you have to convince them, you have to speak to them and all that. Okay, so these are the things which happens, and these are the challenges which you will be facing while working in this domain. Now, if I talk about how to into learning domain from any BA backgrounds. Okay, if you are having other backgrounds, so how you can come to learning backgrounds. Okay, if you are planning to switch, then I would say that now the practical question, this is the practical question, right? Yeah, so I would say I have mentioned certain things here. Learn the domain before you apply for the job. Okay, you have to learn the domain, like courses are available, banking domains, payments domains. So I think you should go for them and read the RBI, RBI digital lending guidelines, study how personal loans and work end-to-end workflows, and watch every video in the FinTech BA learning series. Know the domain before the interviews. Okay, so here we are going to discuss about all of them, like the lending, the loan origination system, loan management system, then collections, accounting, then CWEP preparations, and agile analysis certifications, and CSPOs, and repayment schedules. So multiple things are there which we are going to learn. So I this is the right platform to learn. Get any BFSI project, even if it is not lending. So insurance, payments, investments, any BFSI project is domain adjacent. It teaches you regulatory thinking and financial system complexity. So if you have worked upon them, it means you're okay to work upon lending project. Okay, get CSPO certification before targeting senior lending roles. Okay, so I would recommend to have CSPO certifications, and it gives you signals you understand a sprint based delivery combined with domain knowledge. It is significantly improves your interview conventions. Build your lending knowledge public on LinkedIn. So post weekly about what you are learning, RBI guidelines, credit concepts, KYC types, and hiring manager at lending companies and all that. So whatever you are learning, you can put it over LinkedIn, so that the people, those who need the knowledge, they might get it. Target NBFCs and digital lending startup first. So if you join the startup, then definitely you will have better opportunity to learn, and have the better knowledge. 5 things to take away from this video. So I would mention that there are 30 things that I have mentioned, 5 things to take away from this video. So first one is that that domain specialization is the single most impactful career decisions BA can make it. And because if you have the depth knowledge, definitely you are the premium BA. Second, learning domain creates the most disciplined, most knowledgeable, and most financial valuable BAs in India's tech sectors. Okay, the salary premium is real, like I have already mentioned, 20 to 20 35% above generalist BA peers at equivalent expense levels. Okay, number 4, the challenges are real to regulatory reading, higher stakes, longer ramp up, and these are the things which happens. Number 5, you do not need to be in learning already to break in. You need domain knowledge, BFSI mindset, and consistent visibility on LinkedIn. So these are the 5 things which I have mentioned, and you should take this as a learn. So that's all about it. Thank you, thank you for watching, and that's all about it. This is the FinTech BA channel. Here you are getting an opportunity to learn business analysis, learning domain, AI tools, and career growths, and multiple things are there which we are going to learn. So I would request you, please subscribe the FinTech BA channel, and next video it would be on top 5 skills every FinTech BA must have in 2026. So and that's all about it. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching.